It's gonna be Ghostly in the end. That's really shame. I was looking forward to Team Migration. I was so looking forward to that one. But yeah, well, players chosen a bit differently in the end, and it's gonna be a mirror. Thor with Ra against Thor with Ra. Okay, so let's wait after we actually get our whole map revealed. If there's gonna be some kind of problem with gold. So far it seems that it's a single spawn. Single gold spawn and red, blue. Well, that seems a lot better for Berserker and BoIt. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a base gold mine. Then, quite close by, another big gold mines. Right outside of the gates, there's gonna be one for BoIt as well. That's gonna be a huge help. Whereas for the opponents, 1. Uno. Oh. 1 gold mine at the back. Well, that's unfair. A bit. So let's see how they're gonna be dealing with that. Yeah, Snooker. I'm such a noob. I lose all the time. I just cannot win a single game in this stupid tournament. I just basically lose every time I start the game. It's just so unfair. But I at least like my color. Purple is a very nice color, so I'm happy with that. But otherwise, they're having plenty of gold mines in the middle, which is not exactly all that helpful. Considering all the safe gold mines for BoIt and Berserker. That's just kind of sad when you think about it in there. But still, next to the TC, could be reasonably okay. And there could be ways for Brickhead and his teammate Joe to actually deal with this. If they play it correctly, they just need to scout properly and know how to play. This TC is unfortunately really kind of bad. It's not like this one for BoIt is any kind of better, because they just don't do anything at all. Like literally anything at all. They just don't provide any kind of map control. This is probably even a bit worse, because it's closer to the wall. It's even closed off by the wood line. So yeah, kind of sad story in there. But on the other side of the map, those are a whole lot better. Whole lot better. As we are of course looking at the TC, that is the front for Joe, and between the TC of his and Berserkers, there is a gold mine, which could probably be heavily fought over, as there are some extra gold mines available for potentially Joe and also Berserker, but they will probably have to fight for them, the TC of that, because the way how the map spawn, with all those back gold mines, is gonna be fairly easy for Berserker and BoIt to potentially sit back. But since we have seen the games already, I don't exactly expect they're gonna be sitting back all that much. They have so far been very aggressive in all their games. Even in the previous matches, they are really highlighted by that. Or rather, yeah, not entirely certain what I wanted to say there. And especially BoIt. He is the one who is not afraid of anything. And if he sees an opportunity to go for aggressive gameplay, he is gonna be doing that. 2 minutes 40 and already temple for a Ra. Okay, fun stuff. Fun stuff right there. Is it gonna be like for Shifting Sands attempting? Probably, could be. Let's see if that's gonna be coming into play, as the Thor on his team is probably gonna be worried about it as well, as Brickhead, or rather, Brickhead not, Joe, is maybe thinking about the same thing. You can see they're gonna be advancing at reasonably the same timing before the 5 minutes and whatever. What else is that interesting? For example, the relics before the advances are in. So that's better at 10% hero speed. Kind of fun. Could be useful for, well, for the ISIS it would be useful, but we don't have ISIS. But there are still could be producing plenty of priests, so maybe in that case it could be useful. Rather than for Hersis for Thor, probably not gonna be happening all that much. Even though in the early age, you are probably gonna be, rather, in the early stages, you're gonna be producing a few. Because you want to prevent some kind of ancestors yet again against an ISIS. So I'm not sure if he's gonna be sticking to that kind of, basically that kind of build order. So I'm really thinking that the extra speed for the heroes will be a whole lot more important for the blue player who is getting another relic, which is what? We unfortunately don't see it now because it's in the possession of the Pharaoh. But this one is gonna be Veget Eye for cheaper myth units. That's fun. That's fun, especially for Berserker. We have seen the Wolfies from him. As better Hippaspis, Axeman throwing Axeman hack damage. That's kind of interesting. That could be really coming into play also. But much more importantly, BoIt is casting a raid at 420. And at this point, is it really gonna be helping him? He of course doesn't have even an upgrade on the farm, but he already does have them. So I'm kind of thinking it might be a bit of a prevention measure to be faster than Joe. But at the same time, Joe is definitely not going for the same strategy. He's not even having farms at this point, so it's kind of funny. And let's see what's gonna be coming out of this, because I'm not entirely certain. It's a kind of unusual build order for BoIt. I'm going for the rain this soon in the game. What's gonna be coming out of this? Does he have some upgrades already? He's having husbandry, he's having pickaxe. It's okay. That is okay. Food. Clicked upgrade by Berserker, by Brickhead. At basically the same time. You can see it's gonna be the same second. Almost, yeah. Classical Age Freya. Eye of Ornlu for Brickhead. Freya also for Brickhead. And there was advance from BoIt. And where is Joe? Still not advancing? No, he's right now in. He's probably right now in. If I saw it correctly, or didn't I? No, I probably didn't. He probably hasn't advanced yet. That's kind of strange. He's gonna be advancing so late. But yeah, well, he's gonna be coming, of course, for the Heroic Age also. And same could be expected for BoIt. So, really thinking that's gonna be that. Boots of Kick Everything. They are in the end coming for Berserker. Even though I don't think it's making all that much of a sense for him. In the long run, potentially, in about, I don't know, 15 minutes, when he goes for Ragnarok, then yes, it makes sense. But in the battles before, I'm really thinking it could be a bit better for BoIt and maybe switch the relics back then, or rather after that. Bit of a walling already coming up from Brickhead, so that he's protected himself from all the chariot archers that are absolutely bound to come. And quite a defensive build-up actually by him. Interestingly so, because looking how they are having difficult gold for themselves, they should be a lot more aggressive. Trying to claim all those gold mines that are available. But maybe they just don't know. Maybe they just don't know how the situation is for the opponents and that they are having so much better gold mines. And they kind of think that the golds that they're having in the middle are just gonna be too good for them. Or rather, good enough for them. Not too good. Good enough. Well, who knows? That was a forest fire that they didn't really do anything at all. They killed Pharaoh. That is interesting at this stage. That is actually quite interesting. As Berserker, yet again, you can see 1300 points. He's playing so well in this match. Really playing so well. There is gonna be rain coming up. That is maybe gonna be blocking some kind of interesting god powers. Maybe even from Berserker. Because he could be already advancing into the Heroic Age also. Even though I'm not entirely certain. Both Artemis for better archers and trolls. Okay, so that was what BoIt was capturing. And it is definitely a very good one. You can see Brickhead doing a pretty good trade in right now. With Joe coming for the rain. Which... is it gonna be blocking anything at all? Well, maybe one of those shifting sands. You can have also seen that BoIt didn't advance through Ptah. He went for Bust. Nice, also kind of interesting choice by him. As another rain, of course, is gonna be given extra bonus for BoIt. And that is gonna be quite a huge boost to his economy. Because not only did he have his own rain, he's gonna be having the enemy's rain. Whereas the enemy Ra is not gonna be having anything like that. Which might also be one of the reasons why BoIt went for such an early rain. To basically stop him. Overall from getting the bonus. As he is gonna be getting it himself. So right now good trading by Brickhead. As Hathor is just in from BoIt. As that means that some kind of... oh... could be cast here if it wasn't for the rain. I think that would be actually a pretty good locust at this point. If he could cast them there. But yeah, well, that's not gonna be happening all that much. Bit of an army, of course, still present for Berserker, even though he's raiding with the majority of it. Trying to basically be as annoying as possible, but it seems that the defenses are in place. For at least one of the players, because right now he's aiming directly. Absolutely directly for the gold. Yep, there we go. And, of course, gold mine is gonna be quite significantly disrupted. And the horses are gonna be... gonna be using that as well, as unfortunately those villagers are not really gonna be running away. They're gonna be really fighting, which is kinda nice, but still it's gonna be resulting into at least one, maybe even two more dead villagers. Maybe even two more, but still, it was kinda worth it, and plenty of gold mining has been stopped for Joe, which is of course gonna be yet another advantage for BoIt, who is still having a bit of fun with the Sphinx, but he is gonna be coming forward with some first chariot archers, as he also does have them better through the relic. So market is down. It's probably not gonna be for Mythic, but just basically getting ready if he needs to. Walling is finished for Berserker, and that also means that he is not interested in any kind of raiding inside his base as well. So BoIt has built a settlement that's gonna be the back one, with Joe advancing through Heroic Age, through Hathor into the Heroic Age, going for Migdol. Kinda interestingly defensive one, and this is kinda funny. by Berserker. And he's basically having here having the longhouse right in the doorstep, or rather on the doorstep of the enemy, which might be a bit of an issue, of course, looking at the gold mine in there, but I don't think it's gonna be standing for too long, because obviously Joe, once he switches into at least one siege workshop, he's gonna be getting rid of that in no time. But BoIt, come on, chariot archers idle, they need to be moving, killing villages, as of course Brickhead is still having plenty of horses, and he's coming home and gonna be defending himself against all of those chariots. Speed 6, chariot speed 550, so he's gonna be quite fine to deal with that kind of problem. Nice maneuvering, trying to basically catch them and block them off. But oh well, that doesn't really work all that much in there. And that means that it apparently wasn't even his idea to do that. But TC, oh, just a bit too late. Just a bit too late in there. Definitely good idea by Brickhead. But he was too late. He did have the house in there, but the army unfortunately was too far away to stop that. And that's a pretty huge importance. You know, it's of pretty huge importance for BoIt, because he's right now gonna be able to boom as indiscriminately as humanly possible. So the army is growing for a Brigade, or rather for Berserker, sorry. You can see houses coming up, so he's apparently housed at this point, which is of course good opportunity for Joe to somehow secure himself in the middle. So far he's just going for only the camels. Ah, interestingly so. Yeah, it seems to be basically the case. Right now, Brickhead coming for Heroic Age also. So the only one who isn't in the Heroic Age right is gonna be Brickhead. Rather, I mean, Berserker, all from B. Having similar letters in there. About 2-3 of them. But it's still in my brain getting mixed up. For some reason, Atskadi is also advancing. So basically, everybody advancing at reasonably the same timings as you would be expecting. So yep, we are gonna be entering into a bit of a later game, as Back TC is gonna be captured by Berserker. So, Deities of Death seem to be having kinda nice game so far, as they seem to be controlling that a whole lot better. The whole of the map, as the back TC is gonna be captured by Joe. He's also coming for the front TC at the same time, and this is actually pretty important, because more or less, who controls one of those TCs is gonna be controlling the other as well. And the gold, well, it's just gonna be standing in there. And of course, Joe is gonna be paying attention to this a whole lot. And I'm kinda curious what's gonna happen from Berserker, because so far, he's kinda curiously passive. Curiously passive, he's so far not having a market, so I was kinda looking if maybe there was a thought about some kind of faster mythic. So, doesn't seem so. But plenty of horses are ready for Brickhead, whereas he should be a whole lot more thinking about what's happening inside his base, because even though he has captured the front TC and is gonna be working on the back one also, with one Ulfsak in there, that probably could finish, because so far we don't see any kind of Radiant army all that much being interested in going into the middle. This army is getting quite strong, and really, right about now, Brickhead should be a whole lot more thinking about defense than attack, because he's given all the opportunity to BoIt to do exactly this. Build Migdor right next to gold mine, but much more importantly, gain some kind of important map control. And once he is camped in this position, this TC is just gonna be not attainable. Not attainable and not basically in the power of Brickhead anymore. He's just gonna be easily losing it, as there is a bit of an attempt at raiding. He is getting in on the gold mines in there together with Joe, as Brickhead is using the Forest Fire to get rid of the army. He did actually deal some kind of interesting damage into the throwing axemen, but otherwise the army is just not strong enough. He's gonna be disrupting the economy at least for a bit, killing villages here and there, and Brickhead coming with the flame weapons. That's way too late. That was way too late, because he was already losing like half of the army, or rather not really half, but half of the health of the army. That's better said. But he at least did force, of course, right now the card is Frost, and I'm kind of thinking that in the end it's not that tragic. In the end it's not that tragic, as of course those locusts are cast mainly to basically get rid of all the farms, which is working like a charm, so basically slowing down Berserk as much as possible. But to finish my thought, Steel is gonna be advancing forward, because he's right now gonna be stealing DC in the front as well. So Joe having definitely a very good game, and so far Dots, they seem to be aiming to actually return the punch. This is really quite nicely done, and BoIt definitely needs to right now somehow do something aggressive and effective, because so far he's just raiding without not that much of an effect. He's at least stopping the gold economy right now for a moment for Joe, but he already does have secondary gold mine. That is all his. He is gonna be controlling it, and well, This is a nice thought, as I said. And once actually some first siege works are gonna be coming out of it, and ooh, another Migdol in there coming up. Basically gonna be confirming that Brickhead needs to be paying a whole lot more attention to this battlefield, because this is gonna be otherwise goodbye TC. Fortified, nice upgrade for him at this point. He really needs to come back with everything, but problem is, the everything he had is gonna be killed. It's gonna be killed right next to the TC in there, so he doesn't have anything all that much. His gold is definitely wide open. Oh, that could be a problem. If it was actually noticed, so far it isn't. Joe is gonna be helping at the bottom, but is it really gonna be enough? Because at this point, this is gonna be time for Berserker to go and help alleviate the pressure on BoIt, and he is gonna be using the opportunity that he is given. So that's very well done. Very nice team play by BoIt and Berserker. And even though Deities of Death are attempting a lot of team play as well, unfortunately it was the same as in the last game. They're fighting themselves into worse situations than they are kind of thinking that it's gonna be. That's just basically a result of their opponents being slightly better in how they are planning their things and how they are executing their strategies. So that's kind of the reason. BoIt going for Eclipse. The reason for that being basically to deny the Shifting Sand, because he doesn't have any mythical units, so... Well, he's having one Sphinx. Even though it can make a difference, it's usually being cast for a bit more things than just that. As this seems to be going quite alright, and yeah, yet again, this is just gonna be goodbye TC. This is something that I think that Brickhead kinda underestimated. He's gonna be forced to heavy defensive, and with Berserker pushing forward, doing good job here, but it doesn't seem that he's actually having just enough to actually deal with Joe. But at the same time, it seems that with those hill forts coming up, it's gonna be getting a bit easier for him. Getting those Ulfiaros up there with some Huskarls as well. They're gonna be definitely helping. Medium Huskarls. Baseline of upgrades is there, but much more importantly, even bronze shields. It's gonna be making plenty of difference. For Joe, absolutely no upgrades in there, but he's also coming back with all the army. So right now, yet again, it's like in the last game. It's like in the last game. I would really like to see the upgrade on the buildings. Either Masons or Fortified TC. I'm really thinking that Joe is missing that, and it seems to be some kind of theme for him. Not finding the resources to actually get that upgrade. Kinda strange. Kinda strange a bit. It will be really going a long way for him, I'm thinking, in the games, because it's a lot of difference in the hit points, and it's making it quite challenging to take down TCs by just normal army. Berserker is advancing forward. Apparently, of course, right now at the bottom, BoIt is gonna be stealing the front TC as well. So it might be 4 TC Egyptians against 2 TC Thors on both sides in here. So far, though, it's looking quite a bit more promising for BoIt and Berserker. But Brickhead is doing a good job. You can see some heavy raiders. How's it looking with the upgrades? Great Yaros even in there. Copper shields for BoIt, heavy chariots, and already bronze mail and copper shields. Man, good upgrades. Good upgrades for at this stage. Whereas for Joe, we are looking at no upgrades at this point. So he's having problems with his economy, it seems like. Son of Osiris is coming up for BoIt. That's gonna be an issue at the bottom. Quite a lot more for Berserker, or rather for Brickhead. Whereas Berserker seems to be doing a good job against Joe, who is right now gonna be resigning. You can see even iron shields already in there. And well, that's gonna be GG. And a 3-0. 3-0 sweep for BoIt and Berserker, aka subject to change. And they are definitely strolling towards finals in the tournament. So very well done. Deities of Death did what they could. This game actually was quite interesting. They probably had the biggest chance in this one of them all, but it just didn't work out, as BoIt and Berserker didn't panic. They knew what to do. And yeah, Joe, I need autokill or I crumble. Yeah, it was just, you could have seen the differences in there. Brickhead was able to keep up more or less with Berserker in as far as his quality went, but unfortunately Joe just somehow couldn't get it going. Yep, he was kind of missing the upgrades, maybe even. You can see Shaft Mine, Plow. For BoIt, oh yeah, you can see Irrigation, Carpenters, Quarry. The economy was just a whole lot different story for BoIt. That was also part of the reason why Joe just couldn't get that extra upgrades for himself. Well, let's check into your post game. Let us check into the post game, as this is a GG here. And BoIt, yeah, yet again, having the high score, but this time I don't think it was actually his win. I'm thinking it was basically better teamwork. Because DoDs, they did have good ideas, good moments in there, but unfortunately for them it just didn't work out as well as it did for their opponents. Well, that's what you call skill. Military count, unit skill, well, for Brickhead 88, unit skill 39, it's not exactly huge. But he was also kind of frosted in there, where he lost plenty of armies, so it might be one of the reasons for that. Oh yeah, Joe. Oh, just 7 upgrades in that. Yeah, that was just basically symptomatic to the game. He was doing a good job with taking the TCs, but that's kind of something that is gonna be backfiring if you're not having the economy for that and if you're not having the upgrades, because you just cannot support them. And the 400 gold is a pretty big investment that could be used elsewhere. So yeah, that's probably what broke his back and neck as well. He just went for a bit too many TCs and he couldn't really hold them. But more than anything, he probably didn't really want to boom from them. It was just basically for map control and deny it to the opponent, which is a valid idea, but at the same time it also allows your opponent to basically be having 2 TCs extra worth of resources, 4 versus 2. And in the early stages that is quite important. It's a really important difference, as getting pop limit early is very hard with so many TCs. Yeah, that was the sad story with the Frost. And he lost like almost all the army in there. Well, okay, GG. And congrats. BoIt and Berserker subject to change on another victory in the group stage of the 2v2 Vanilla Winter Championship hosted by Owl Destroyer.